Hello, today I'm going to be talking about how our environment and also our culture can affect our gait and our posture. Recently, we took a trip to the Milwaukee Museum to look at their exhibits and to see if we could find any patterns about either how their culture or their environment would affect these two things. One of the good exhibits that I found for one of these examples was um, it was a Philippines exhibit, and was a good example of how the culture can affect their posture. So the culture that it showed the women making pottery, and it was a big part of their culture. And in making the pottery, they had to sit on the ground over their wheel or sculpting the pottery, and so they're sitting hunched over all day, and so therefore this will affect their posture by disrupting the natural curve of the spine. And since the spine is so vital to decent or good posture, this is going to affect their posture. The ways that it affects it, it's going to increase the kyphosis of the lumbar, or the thoracic spine, and also decrease lordosis of the cervical and also the lumbar spine. Um, as far as muscles go, it's going to make the pectoralis majors tight and also stretch out the back muscles and therefore weaken the back muscles. And then for our culture is actually, I mean, our culture is not that similar to them, but what we do in our culture is a similar action where everyone is so sedentary in our culture, and also the jobs that people work, they're sitting all day long at a desk writing or typing, so they're going to be also hunched over, so their spine could be affected in the same way. The second exhibit I looked at was comparing environment and how it affects the gait of the people in the environment. So the exhibit that I looked at was the one of the Eskimos. They're standing in a little group with the seal that they just caught. So obviously the environment of the Eskimos is pretty cold, pretty snowy, and pretty icy. So the way that they have to adjust their gait um, from this environment is to take smaller steps by decreasing their stride length and their step length, and this is going to help them keep stability while walking. So that because they don't want to fall on the ice, they don't want to fall on the slippery snow, so they need to take the smaller steps to keep their stability. By doing this, they're going to increase their double limb support time, their stance time, and also their cadence is going to increase, but the speed of their walking is going to decrease. And this also could be because of their all the amount of clothing they have to wear. It's going to be so thick that it's going to make them have to take smaller steps and not be able to walk as fast. Our environment in Wisconsin, it gets pretty cold in the winter. Not probably as cold as where the Eskimos live, but it gets pretty snowy and icy, so we have to follow similar precautions when walking in the winter to keep from falling. But obviously, our environment's not always like theirs, so it's a little bit different in that way. Doing this experience and looking at all these exhibits at the museum just going to make me just consider people's everyday lives, what they do, where they live. It's going to make me consider those factors in their gait and their posture and how those things affect them. I mean, they're going to affect them just as much as any disease would or anything like that. So everyone's going to be affected by what they do or um, how they do it. So that's just what I took away from this. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.